Okay, so I'm joined with Dante from the Movistar Riders. You guys unfortunately lost the match that you were in right now against Dignitas. So let's go through the match. It was actually pretty close match. You
Yeah.
ended up taking the first map on Li Jang. What are like your thoughts on that?
We had the idea that we didn't really want to play that much King of the Hill, but this was the only maps that were left, so we first picked it. When we got into it, we kind of just wanted to play dive. I think this meta suits for it pretty well, but we run into some troubles, and then we realized that normally play dive with Tracer and Genji, but we realized Fire was working better, so we switched it up, and then we started winning the rounds. Was the crucial switch.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, a lot of Genji, Pharah. You mentioned that big change from like what we used to see with the triple tank. On the first match, there was a Chaz versus GDK. They were still doing some tanky stuff, but like you two, Digga and Riders, were not at all. Like, what's your thoughts on that tank stuff?
Alright, so I think the tank stuff is kinda over. I think it can get countered by Zen. So if you would play your normal dive, now I play Ana, but I play Ana because I'm afraid that a Genji, like a counter dive, will shut me down if I play Zen. Because Zen's hitbox is really easy to hit, right? In my opinion, anyway. So then we go Ana, but Ana doesn't counter tanks. So if we were to play against tanks, I would probably go Zen and just discord the tanks and blow them up instead. I think the tanks are kind of over in my mind. I think though, because the chefs, they were really good at the tank meta. They're still really good, of course, but I think they kind of make it work because they're really good at it. So maybe other teams that weren't really good at it will move over it, like move to dive or whatever other comps.
Okay. So then second map, you guys went to Anubis, which was Dignitas's pick. What do you think about TCP? Because you capped first point, and then it was like 7 minutes of just trying second point.
Yeah. Well, 2CP is not the fun mode in my mind. The second point will always struggle unless you snowball really hard from first point. You need to like build up a bunch of ultis and get a clean wipe. Otherwise, the enemies will just snowball in one by one and just stall forever, which happened a few times. In that map specifically, what we did wrong, we had some Tracer Zarya combos that didn't went off at all. So like there went our clean wipes, and we didn't get them. And yeah, in the end we switched a little bit up, but I think we just executed poorly. And yeah, that's it. I think like Anubis, of all the 2CPs, we kind of like Anubis. So we kind of just let it go through in the picks and bans. But yeah, didn't work out for us.
So then after that was Nepal. And even though you guys won the first King of the Hill, you weren't able to win that one. Like, what do you think about Nepal? Is it like because they started doing like Junkrat stuff, or?
Now we actually won the Junkrat map, right? I think so.
I don't remember the specifics of like each stage, but I know they were doing some wonky stuff. Like,
Yeah.
what do you think about that?
So they went Junkrat, but we kind of knew they were going to do that. Like, they didn't want to scrim us before this tournament, but we kind of knew. Some sources told us. And so we countered it by Farah, because, well, what you going to do with Junkrat? They in return played McCree against Farah. So they had Junkrat, McCree, which is kind of weird comp in my mind. But I don't know. I think the map overall, again, we kind of executed really poorly. We had some poor ultimates. And yeah, I don't think it was the comps they were playing.
Right, so it was just on your side, kind of not being able to play your style and to execute. Which was like
I think poor execution. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
Okay, you guys on the roster had Kolsti, who was actually the only French player at this tournament, even though it's a French tournament. You got him like relatively recently because you were playing with Winghaven for a bit, like, and now he's in the US with Complexity. So, what really happened there?
We were looking for a tank because our other tank is a very good player, Eru, or that we played with, Hure. I'm not sure. He spelled his name backwards. Not sure what he wanted to go with.
Hurre.
Yeah, And then, but he was young. He didn't wanna. He couldn't commit with us as much as we wanted to, so we had to replace him. And then we had the tournament. Like we played the first match with Hura, but after that, we had to get a new tank, and we kind of were trying out both Winghaven and Kolsti. We decided that Kolsti worked better for us, so that's where he come from.
With that kind of late swap, do you think that would be linked with your problems in terms of execution or not?
I mean, we played more with Aru, of course, or Hura, but I don't know. I didn't think it was the issue. I think it was just overall team issues, or not team either.
In terms of like playing in LAN, some of the guys that were on Mouse were at the DreamHack. They went through the BYOC, then the actual tournament. Like, what's your experience? Because I don't know, like individually, are there any like newbies who were like?
I'm a newbie.
You're a newbie.
Yeah. This is literally my first LAN, so there's that. I don't know if it really mattered, but the guys that are still from the original roster that went to the DreamHack are Logix, Vinci, and Swoosh. So that the other three, I'm not sure about Kolsti. I know Neptuno had a lot of background in League of Legends, so he probably went to some LANs as well.
All right, so let's talk a bit about your organization. Kind of out of nowhere, they only announced basically Neptuno, who is Spanish, and of course it's a Spanish company. You guys have not necessarily announced officially the roster yet. So like, what's going on? Are you all signed on a contract, or can you tell us a bit more about that?
Not sure if I could tell more.
You don't know if you're gonna?
I know, yeah, I mean, there's still gonna be announcements. Let's just say it that way. We're gonna go with Movistar. It will be announced at some point, I guess, officially.
All right, that's fine. That's fine. Don't worry about it. Yeah, don't worry about it. It's okay. It's okay. In terms of course, we had Chavs and GDK who were here, who either got dropped from their organization or left, and just the Chavs who haven't had an organization for like a really long time. There's this thing in EU going on with a lack of tournaments, which of course we can see all these EU teams coming to this quote unquote French tournament.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on kind of like the EU scene as a whole right now?
Well, the lack of tournaments is really, I don't know, it's sad because, you know, we want to compete. We want to compete at a high level. We look at like NA, they got like at least the monthly meelees, they got like the big LAN tournaments, and they're all NA only, right? Or invite only. So we can't even try and participate in them, which is kind of frustrating. About move to NA, I don't know. I have some thoughts on NA teams that I don't think we necessarily wouldn't be able to compete with them. I think we would do really well against them. Some teams anyway that are playing in the teams, in the tournaments. But yeah, like I feel like in AU we're currently lacking the opportunities to try and play, like try and prove ourselves, which is, yeah, I don't like it. But I hope Blizzard will give us some love at some point.
Yeah, the consensus seems to be that it's just everyone's kind of waiting for the announcement for the Overwatch League, and because there's not that much information, people are just kind of waiting. Orgs aren't really willing to commit too much.
Yeah.
I know for you guys, you got an org here apparently, but that's not the case for everyone.
No, I know. Don't know what I can say about that. I know Chefs like has been a good team for a really long time, so I'm actually surprised they don't have a org yet. Like they've been playing for a few months now at like high level. Like I'm pretty sure they're beating like most teams in scrims and stuff. So yeah, it's kind of sad because like they could literally like they would probably be one of the better teams to pick up right now, and they just don't get to pick up. And then you look at NA, you see like, oh, that team got picked up, that team got picked up, and you're like, why do these teams get picked up over like the Chefs, or you know?
Some of the other guys were telling me, like, yeah, we're pretty sure if we had to compete with those kind of NA tier 2, we would kind of wreck them. What do you think about that?
No, I think they would. I played, like, before I joined this team, I played some tryouts on NA teams. Because, well, it's NA, they have good offers, they have good organizations backing them, but I didn't I didn't think the teams were as good as, like, our team right now or other tier 2. I don't even want to kill tier 2. Like it's just below tier 1 teams, like just below Misfits, Rogue and IP and stuff. So yeah, I think it's kind of sad. Yeah,
that's kind of like the consensus that pretty much everyone I've been talking to has said that. Okay, is there anything you want to add for like your fans, or I don't know how many Spanish fans you have, but yeah, any final words that you want to shout out?
Well, I want to thank Movistar and Riders for the opportunity, at least. For the rest, everybody that enjoys watching my stream, I got a stream. Hey, watch it. Thank you for watching, and that's pretty much it.
All right, thanks. Good luck for
All right.
the next.